Sup guys? One of the most difficult things for new players to grasp is how to tell if a ship is good or not by looking at their stats and skills, and many people have asked me how I do it. Guys, that's my whole job. If I just gave you the secret, what would be the point of my channel? Anyway, it's going to come from experience. First, you need some kind of standard. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you've been using Portland for 2 months, and you know exactly how tanky she is. A new ship comes out with stats that are within 1 or 2 points of Portland in both evasion and luck, has similar skills, but has around 6,100 HP. With that, you should be able to deduce that she would be around 10% tankier than Portland. And that's really all there is to it. We can also do an example with damage stats. Let's compare Drake with Unzen. Their firepower buff, and Megan efficiency are all quite similar. If you want to know exactly how these small differences in each number affect DPS, you can plug the numbers into the damage calculation formula found on the wiki. Drake has some improved modifiers on her gun, but it's not that much, while Unzen has double torpedoes with insane torp stats. So you can probably infer that Unzen will be slightly weaker than Drake in gun damage, while completely eclipsing her once you factor in her torpedoes, and that is not even counting Unzen's better barrages. Sometimes it can be more ambiguous, as is the case with Haku and carrier Amagi. One reason why Haku really suffers in a lot of boss fights is her reliance on her dive bomber slot. Although she has much stronger dive bombers than Amagi, dive bombers are currently not the best slots against bosses. Another reason is because it's difficult to gauge whether an 8% damage taken debuff is more impactful than a 15% torpedo damage increase for Sakura ships only. Until you run some calculations, or better yet, actually use them in practice, it's not easy to tell that Amagi is stronger than Haku. Also, you must first have used Haku a decent amount and know how strong she is in order to understand that Amagi is the strongest carrier in the game against heavy armor. To summarize, first choose a ship you've used a lot as a baseline for comparison. Try to choose a ship that has straightforward skills. A good example is New Jersey, whose entire kit boils down to some stat buffs and fires a barrage. A bad example would be Kearsarge, as her battleship gun plus fighter loadout makes her vastly different from other ships. The baseline ship will be different for everyone, and the more experience you have with using different ships, the more comparisons you have to draw from. Then, if they're similar enough, like in the case of Unzen and Drake, you should be able to tell immediately that Unzen will deal much more damage than Drake, but the best way is to use them both to see. If you are very new to the game, you won't have much to compare different ships to, as you're probably still leveling your ships, in which case the higher level one probably wins out most of the time. If you don't have max level ships with plus 10 equipment at least, there's nothing you can really do to be able to have a good grasp of how good a ship is once maxed out. Past watching videos of other players, of course. Anyway, that's all I've got on this topic. Hope you found these helpful. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.